As Pepsiman, you'll have to run through 4 different stages: San Francisco, New York, Texas, and Pepsi City, saving people from dehydration by giving them a Pepsi. There's going to be a bunch of obstacles and ways the game will prevent you from achieving the goal, so this guide should help you deal with all of them. I won't get all of the Pepsi cans, but I will try to help you get to the ending. The introduction ends with the man looking into a Pepsi can, which suggests that the game is happening inside of it. Then the man gets some Pepsi and chips, and with enthusiasm suggests to start the game. Afterwards, you'll stumble upon a Pepsi delivery man. He was just about to deliver Pepsi to a vending machine, but his tire is flat, and the people there are about to riot, so you'll have to save the day. In the first stage, you'll learn the basics. When it comes to the Pepsi cans, for every 25 collected, you'll get an extra life. There's also a special wireframe Pepsi man you can unlock for getting all Pepsi cans in every stage, but I won't cover that in this video. Up until this point, you should be able to get here without needing to jump or slide. Then, the garbage truck will start throwing trash at you. You can either avoid it by dodging it, or you can just jump over it. After running through this garden, you'll encounter the next obstacle, the manhole man. The first one will hide and allow you to run over the manhole. Watch out for the other manholes. You'll have to avoid them. Then a Pepsi truck will appear. Make sure to slide under it. Running through the house shouldn't be a problem. Behind the house will be a shed. You'll exit it with a trash can on you, and your controls will be inverted. This section should be fairly easy, so just make sure to master the inverted controls. After going through the next house, you'll reach the final section of the first scene. Here's going to be a new obstacle to avoid, the delivery van. It will throw furniture at you, but you should easily avoid it. After sliding under this truck, you'll reach the end of the first scene. The next scene should be easy up until this point. Jump over this hole and then over this one. Don't worry about the excavator, it won't turn. Then avoid the drill man and you'll arrive here. Here you'll have to sprint if you want to get all the Pepsi cans. This is done by pressing up and the slide button at the same time. You can also slow down by pressing the down button and the slide button at the same time, but you won't need it for now. Run through this house and you'll arrive at another shed. This time you'll exit it on a skateboard. The whole skateboard section should be simple. Bomb down the hill and you'll arrive here. There's going to be a delivery van waiting for you, so make sure to prepare yourself to avoid it. Slide under this truck and that's the second scene done. That's not all though. The Pepsi delivery man will cause an accident and you'll have to run from a huge Pepsi can. This section might be a bit tricky, as you can't really know where the obstacles will appear and you'll have a short amount of time to react. One thing is certain though, you won't have to slide here at all, so just prepare to dodge the obstacles and jump over them if needed. Once you'll manage to outrun the Pepsi can, this cutscene will play. The man will praise you for doing a good job and suggest getting a Pepsi. Next stage though. The second stage begins with a fireman. Due to a fire, there's a bunch of exhausted and dehydrated people, so you'll have to bring them some Pepsi. The beginning of the stage will be a bit chaotic, but not really difficult. Make sure to avoid all obstacles and then jump over the police car. There's going to be a new vehicle waiting for you here. It drops barrels and dodging them is a bit difficult, but as you can see, failing once won't cause you to lose. You'll exit the next shed on a barrel. Steering it is fairly easy and you should get to this section with no problems. Avoid the oncoming traffic and this manhole. This section after this checkpoint is way more difficult. What worked for me was sliding under this barricade and then sprinting to catch up to the excavator and then sprinting once again to avoid it. If you won't be fast enough, the excavator will turn left and you won't be able to get to the other side. Avoid these construction workers by sliding under the beams and you'll arrive at the bridge. Here you'll have to choose to either jump over the beams or slide under them. You can always follow the Pepsi cans, but watch out for this jump. You'll have to sprint to make it to the other side. Repeat the process up until this excavator. If you'll get unlucky, either sprint or slow down to make the excavator swing to the other side. And that's the first scene done. The second scene begins with you falling down a manhole. In the sewers, you'll have to avoid a bunch of pipes and use the sprint commonly to jump over these large gaps. Make sure to keep left here, otherwise you'll fall. The rest of the sewer section shouldn't be challenging. Just make sure to not fall down and avoid the broken pipes. In the subway section, turn right, slide under this beam and dodge all of the working men. Over here, you'll have to sprint twice, otherwise you won't make it. Watch out for the shovel on the ground here. It's really hard to notice. Repeat this process once again and you'll reach the next checkpoint. Make sure to sprint here before making the jump. Then there's going to be a bit of an awkward transition, so prepare for it and jump, so you won't stumble like I did. Make sure to sprint across this wall section and avoid the turnstiles here. Run up the stairs and prepare to sprint jump to reach the next building. You can also just sprint and fall over like I did. This works as well. Jump across the rest of the buildings and then you'll reach the ending of this scene. This was supposed to happen, so don't worry about it. You'll fall on a truck and it will chase you down. I actually found this truck chase to be way easier than the Pepsi can chase from the first stage. There's nothing new added here. You'll just have to dodge obstacles and jump over them if needed. Escaping this chase will play the next cutscene.
Pepsi for TV game.
Up next, you'll have to help the military man. A plane full of passengers had to perform an emergency landing in the middle of a desert. Bring them some Pepsi and help them with the dehydration. You'll start on a highway, and there's going to be a new mechanic introduced. Every once in a while, the danger text will appear. At that moment, you'll have to get to the other lane, otherwise this will happen. You can avoid getting run over by jumping in between the two vehicles though. This will allow you to continue instead of respawning at the beginning. Once you reach this checkpoint, you'll have to deal with this truck carrying logs. There's two different ways the logs can be thrown at you. Whenever they'll bounce off the ground, slide. If they'll fall and tumble towards you, jump over them. The animation of the logs doesn't change, so once they've jumped or tumbled, you already know what to do. Then you'll have to deal with the bikers. Whenever you'll notice the danger text, run to the other side and prepare to sprint. You should always be able to outrun them like this. Eventually the text will appear on both sides. Prepare to sprint and jump like this. Make sure to sprint as much as you can, as you'll have to be fast enough to avoid this last biker here. Avoid these stumbling rocks and stay in the right lane. Then the bikers will go after you one last time. You can just sprint through this wall section. You won't even have to jump. After you cross the Pepsiman billboard, stay in the left lane, as a car will try to hit you. Avoid the large Pepsi can and keep sprinting up to this point. Here prepare to slide, so you won't fall over like I did. And that's the first section done. In the next section, you'll have to avoid a bunch of buffaloes. This shouldn't be hard. Just make sure to not sprint next to the large rocks like I did. There might be a buffalo waiting there. Also, don't forget to avoid this cacti. After reaching this checkpoint, you'll go through yet another shed. You'll exit it on a barrel, and steering it should be simple. This wall section shouldn't be a problem. Then you'll have to sprint through these wooden planks and enter the mine. There's some Pepsi cans in these boxes, so make sure to break them if you want to collect them all. Then there's going to be 3 different obstacles to avoid. These gaps, then a minecart that might come from the left or the right side and will always bounce off the wall, so watch out for it. And then finally, these boulders. After jumping over these gaps, prepare to slide under this wooden beam. This section might be a bit difficult, so don't sprint unless you have to. The last area will introduce the last new obstacle, the falling wooden beams. Jump over them, avoid these minecarts and boulders, and save the people from dehydration. The buffaloes will catch up to you though, and throw you on this stack of logs. This chase is the hardest, as even stumbling once will make dodging the logs way more difficult due to you being closer to them. What worked for me was to jump only when I needed to do so. If you'll position yourself well, you'll be able to get through the first half of this chase without jumping even once. Then you'll have to jump a few times, but if you'll have a choice to avoid the tumbling log by not jumping, try to do so. If you'll be struggling here, try to remember the pattern. You'll eventually definitely get it, as it's not random. Surviving the chase will play the next cutscene.
Pepsi for pizza.
The final stage begins with the policeman. The main computer of Pepsi City is overloaded, and this is causing a lot of chaos. So your next goal is to get to the main computer, fix it, and supply everyone with Pepsi. There's going to be a bunch of new obstacles, the first one being the falling signs. Always be prepared for signs to fall, so whenever you spot one above the road, watch out for it. Slide under the truck, and you'll have to avoid the Pepsi cans falling from the delivery van. This should be easy. Just make sure to not sprint, and watch out for this last one. The next new obstacle is this Pepsi sign, which works the same way as the shovel from the subway. Watch out for it as well. After getting this checkpoint, you'll have to avoid a bunch of oncoming traffic. It always comes in a repeating switching pattern, which should make it easy to avoid. Slide under the truck and jump over this car, so you won't hit it like I did. Then you'll have to go through this section in the same bin from the first stage. There's not much to say, it should be fairly easy. Here, prepare for the last section of the first scene. You'll have to keep using the sprint jump, as there's pretty much no other way to avoid the obstacles, and also, if you've tripped over as many times as I did, you won't have a lot of time left on the clock. I fell once here, due to this sign, so if you would want to avoid it, don't sprint jump and just jump to the other side. Either way, I still managed to make it with 2 seconds left on the clock, so hopefully you'll manage as well. The last scene introduces the conveyor belts and boxes of Pepsi. The conveyor belts at the beginning will speed you up, so make sure to not sprint like I did, as that makes dodging the boxes way too difficult. Then there's going to be conveyor belts that will slow you down. Prepare to sprint on them, otherwise you'll lose a bunch of time. Lastly, these boxes will come from both sides as well, so prepare to avoid them too. Whenever you'll notice them, make sure to not stay on that side. The other side should always be safe. You should be able to zoom past this section like I did. It shouldn't be too difficult once you'll remember the pattern. This section ends with these doors. If you'll be unlucky with the timing, use the down button and slide to stop like this. Run through them and prepare for a sprint jump. Then you'll run through the pipe area. You won't have to sprint here even once, so sprint only if you would want to save up some time. Watch out for this sign over here. The last running section has 2 new obstacles, the floating board and the floating boxes. Hopefully you'll go through this section better than I did, as I fell like 5 times. Go through the doors, jump these gaps, and you'll reach the final checkpoint. In the last section, you'll have to dodge a bunch of walls on a hoverboard. Watch out for this falling sign, and you should manage to make it with a few seconds left on the clock. You'll fix the main computer, and that's the second scene done. But there's one last chase. You'll have to run from the Pepsi can that is throwing a bunch of Pepsi cans at you. It's quite similar to the lag chase. You shouldn't have to jump until the second half. Use all of the advices I've given you earlier. You can once again stumble twice without failing, and making it through the final chase will play this cutscene.
You got it! Yeah! Yeah! Woo! Everybody Pepsi! Drink Pepsi! Pepsi. Only my choice.
Then after the credits, this cutscene plays.
Pepsi is... Excuse me.
And that was Pepsiman, so hopefully I helped you out.